180!
We're at the Betvictor World Matchplay here in Blackpool, and last night see the end of the first round matches. There was some good performance and some mediocre ones, so it'd be interesting to see if the odds have changed. And have they, Charlie, on last night's performances?
Well, probably quite surprisingly, Rod, it's Adrian Lewis, although he won well enough, but he really wasn't, I think, at his best. But he's the big mover in the market. He's 6-1 from 8-1. We now think, you see, the rationale behind it, not because Adrian particularly impressed last night, but the thing is now there's a possibility it'll be Dolan, with Thornton going out as well to Ian White. That now sort of frees up, we think, that side of the draw. And if he gets MVG in the semi-final, let's get it right, he's beaten them the last twice. So there's no reason for a dual world champion to fear Mighty Mike. And so that's the result. That's the rationale behind the fact that he's the 6-1 third favourite. We're still the biggest price on the front two in the market. Phil Taylor, you know, this time a couple of days ago, Rod, we suggested that Taylor, we thought so far we'd seen 24 then. Let's get it right. He still has the bar at 103. Not just the average, of course. He was in second gear, in my opinion, in that game against Stuart Kellett. He's still the one to beat. It's 2-1, 5-2 for Michael Van Gerwen, 6-1 then. And Andy Hamilton, I was impressed. Okay, people will say that Ronnie Baxter wasn't on the right and wasn't at his best, and of course he wasn't. That doesn't mean to say that it was absolutely thoroughly professional job. Absolutely thoroughly professional job from Andy Hamilton. We're all saying there, I think I was certainly one of them, I have to put my hand up, I thought it would be a hell of a game. Nothing between them, as it turned out. Hamilton 33-1 into 12, into 22-1 rather, but the action begins this evening.
It certainly does, and without doubt it's probably one of the best lineups, well, the best lineup I've ever seen in any tournament of the last 16. I mean, the pairings are absolutely unbelievable with top players. Now tonight, I mean, it's going to be electrifying. I mean, we're going to see some unbelievable darts. You know, anything that stands out are the prices between these pairings?
Well, Phil against Terry Jenkins, and Terry Jenkins, of course, the last person to beat Phil here at the Winter Gardens. He couldn't do it again, could he? He's 7-1, and again with ourselves at Betvictor, just having a quick chat to Wayne Mardell off there, and Wayne was suggesting that you know, people shouldn't just look at the favourites. They should look at Betvictor at things like our odds, our averages, etc., individual averages and 180s and things like that. But that, you know, let's get it right. Terry Jenkins versus Phil the Power Taylor, that's got a semi-final, a quarter-final. Then look, it hasn't got a second round. Look, Raymond van Barneveld, Justin Pipe, of course, you know, wasn't really, you know, Mark Webster, unfortunately. Barney wants that, you know, it's Taylor that would appear in the next round after that. Simon Whitlock, again, a terrific performance, Whitlock, and of course he's just seems to be peaking at the right time, having won the last European Tour event, 5-2 on against Kevin Painter at 2-1. I think Whitlock will win that. And the other one, James Wade, 2-1 on against Anderson, 13-8. Anderson, what do you know? Do you know what Gary Anderson's going to turn up? His doubles were good in the first round. Can he maintain that? We know James is so rightly the machine. We know James is going to score 90 plus. You know James is going to do it all. But Gary Anderson, can he come back to that brilliance that was maybe in the first of Adrian's World Championship finals, one of the great games of all time? And there were just snippets that Anderson, maybe that's the shock at 13-8, Gary Anderson, but it's going to be, as you say, I think fourth and sensational games. 7-1 Terry Jenkins, the last person to beat him. He couldn't do it again, did he?
Well, I don't think he will. I've got to go with Phil Taylor on that. But the bet for me, I think if you're a punter and you like Gary Anderson, you're back in to see if Gary Anderson's going to hit those doubles. And if he turns up and hits those doubles, I think he will beat James Wade. And that's what you'll be punting on. But there's lots of other markets that Betvictor are doing, and some of them I love. I love the averages bet. You know, that you pick your player, you go against him and you think, yes, I think he's going to be turning up tonight. But the 9-darter, I fancy that 9-darter, Charlie. I really do tomorrow night. What's the odds on anyone doing it, or just perhaps Phil Taylor?
Taylor will be about a 10-12 to 1 lads. One shot. The lads are doing that market as we speak. Remember on Sunday night here, it was when we had Mighty Mike and Taylor. It was only around about a 4 to 1 shot. Remember, this is now best of 25 as well. There's going to be more legs, certainly potentially more legs this evening. I would suggest it's about a 4-1, 9-2 shot this evening to see a 9 daughter. We still got to see one. Surely it's an 8-11 still, even money not to be a 9 daughter. I still think the 8-11. I still think between now and Sunday night we'll get a 9 daughter. Of course we will.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. A couple of other bets. I mean, when you look at the long legs over the checkout, I mean, that's always a good bet. The averages on your own player and the 180s, because they've moved up in legs, they're going to hit more and more 180s. But for all the bets you want, right across the board, betvictor.com, that's the place to be.
180!